And I only started playing it about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, Seth, I'm starting to get that. A handful of people have said 2 boss cells is the first real noticeable... I'm fucking not scared of you, game. A lot of people have said 2 boss cells is the first real noticeable...
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
Increase in... This is 100% where we die, by the way. 100% increase in... I've never been killed. I've never been killed by that sword before. I just wanted to see how hard it hit. And of course, the first real enemy I went up against had a shield and just deflected it. So it's like, oh, okay. So you're telling me there are dangers to using a sword where you die in 1 hit, and that not all of the benefits are hyper tangible. Dragon D with a gifted tier 1 sub to Mr. Squiggly Waffle, 49 gifties all time. Thank you so much. Squiggly Waffle, enjoy the emotes. Dragon D, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, exactly, Oppenheimer. Gave me this ridiculous boon, and then gave me this absurd hard counter in like the first enemy. Oh, is that not enough? Bam, 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 bam. The battle of the Bam Bams. Thought he was in elite. Mercy. I want to find a weapon that I enjoy. I feel like it's been a minute since I found a weapon I really like. I keep trying all these weapons and none of them feel like home, and I think that's part of the frustration too. This fucking guy, man. It's not glamorous, but it is way safer. Current favorites: Boomerang, Laser Glaive, and Repeater. What do you do with Laser Glaive when you get to a boss fight? Good, man. I hope it knocked the fucking wind out of you. There's no, like, crit condition on the multiple knocks bow, huh? That sucks. Random skills. Sure. Are there any other random skills? You just don't use it? You just cycle it out? I gotta get better about that. I gotta get better about having a build that does well with crowd control, but then holding something in my backpack then holding something in my backpack that I'm like, this is my boss killing enemy. Or my boss killing weapon. That's smart. That's a smart move that I've neglected for too long. Oh, Billy. Oh, God. There we go. It's not easy being cheesy. I maybe should have considered that. If I'm gonna have ice, freezing something and then slapping the living shit out of it with a massive hammer is not the worst thing. It's like a secondary weapon that you pair with boomerang or something else. It's a free oil grenade. Well, we didn't get our 30 in the row on this one, but I was trying out the big fuck off hammer, the flint. As I say, you don't have to wait for me, bird. Wipe them out. No survivors. Oh, Jesus. Wipe them out. No survivors, bud. Man alive. There's still men alive down here. There we go. Oh. Sorry, I'm certainly not juggling these as effectively as I feel like I should be. I am right there with you, Squiggly Waffle. Every time that I log in and, you know, Isaac's still sitting at 700 viewers and Dead Cell sitting at like 73, it blows my mind a little bit. Blows my mind a little bit. Shit. Whew. Isaac's just better for chat interaction. You're not wrong. It is much easier to pay attention on Isaac. It's easier to pay. I mean, like, it's also easier for me to pay attention on Isaac because I can play that game in my periphery. I don't think I'm gonna stick with the multiple Nox bow. I might stick with the Frost Blast though. I'll probably stick with the bird. I feel like that's my most immediate, improvement. I wouldn't mind sticking with a bow and arrow build though. Oh, the Castlevania DLC is beautiful. If you like, you know, the original Castlevania series, it's such a love letter. It's a beautiful love letter to Castlevania. Very well done. Nope. How about that? Yeah, I feel like the bird's gonna be our saving grace for a while. Oh, Jesus, thank you, bird. Sloan, he should be cold as ice, willing to sacrifice. Maybe I'll take that frostbitten perk. All right, sounds good, Apocalyptic. Good on you for getting some exercise. I must have missed an entire subterranean area. It's an illusion, Michael. Tricks are things whores do for money. Sorry, yes, with a fancy hat and outfit, it makes me look. It does make me look like a magician. What's going on in here? He wondered out loud. It's a hard-fought room. I earned this. I don't really see where any of these help me. Sinew Slicer would be helpful. Barnacle has proven useful. I'm not gonna have the money for any of these right now. I'll leave those the way they are for the time being. Farrell, how was the rest of that trip? How was your drive? I want that ice bow. I have never once cast that successfully. Or I want the repeater, but with freezing on it. And then I want to get the freezing DPS on it. I don't think throwing knife is the answer. Honest to God, stream kept me going. I'm happy to have played any small part in that for sure. God knows I've needed podcasts and droning audio. Which, if I have to describe it, is a pretty apropos way of walking somebody through exactly what I do for a living. But yeah, I've been in a couple of long drive situations where just having droning monotonous noise was a good thing that saved my bacon. For sure. I was gonna say he has multiple arrows in him, so multiple arrows should be ticking at 35 damage per second. That last hour Tuesday was rough. I hate to admit it, but I've definitely had a couple of drives where I was like, the only thing that kept me from wrapping my car around a tree in a median strip was the distraction of whatever the hell podcast or fucking radio DJ or audio book or whatever, like whatever was keeping me from jerking the wheel and seeing where the chips fell. just keep knocking them down. These guys are taking like Geralt falling in Witcher 3 damage. I really like long drives so long as I have someone to talk to. Ooh, here's our legendary. I haven't seen a legendary in a couple runs because let me check my notes here. I keep fucking dying. Ooh. Well, shit. I mean, I guess it is colorless, so we don't have to lean in. Oh. It is colorless, so we don't have to. Oh, Jesus. Lord, save me. I know I haven't been Christian in like 20 years, but there's no atheists in dead cells. Did that say 50% crit multiplier? It sure as shit did. Yeah, Legendary Assassin's Dagger, I feel like, whether I like it or not, is the way. That doesn't mean that we can't continue to roll into tactics. It's just instead of barbed tips, we're gonna have to do Ripper if we want to do DPS. Did you ever meet my wife, Barb? I wonder if you can roll the other 20% crit on it. I feel like because question, and Amy G, you can answer this without worrying about spoiling it for me. Exclamation points on stuff, are those permanent modifiers? Are those the ones that don't change? Because I'd be mortified if the permanent is the one with the crown next to it. If I don't lose, the crits are 50% plus damage. I could roll the rest of it and be pretty happy. Like, what if I got additional damage to a frozen enemy, you know? All of a sudden, I genuinely am alternating between the freezing... I'm down here now. Then all of a sudden, I really am alternating between my freezing secondary and this backstab. I missed. Anyway, just musing out loud. Trying to figure out how to break this slump. cold, but it still tastes good. Damn, it's already past noon. I was sitting here low-key terrified that I was gonna look over there and it was gonna say like 11. I'm genuinely surprised that we are this late in the day. Random skills. Tesla coil is probably much better than oil grenade. I'll go ahead and lay hands on that for sure. Yeah, anything that I can use that'll slow down speedy bosses like Time Killer or Timekeeper. I can't imagine what I would take in place of Frost Blast here, but let's at least peek and see what they got going on. It's Electric Whip. I do love me a boomerang, but not in place of what we have right now. I was saying that the repeater crossbow with the barbs in it would be kind of cool. Ice bow would have been cool, yeah. I mean, we don't have nearly the... We will never in a million years have the money necessary to pick up the repeating crossbow there. Ice bow I would consider taking. Repeating crossbow I consider taking. I really don't like Wings of the Crow. I want so badly to like Wings of the Crow. I do not like Wings of the Crow. I do not. Oh, hi, Mock. I think we'll start up and go down. I have to be careful. Sometimes things that are going to cause me damage come my way, and I assume that they are jewels and rewards, but what they actually are is negative HP, and it just looks really pretty. Any tips for new Dead Cell streamers? I don't have any Dead Cell specific tips, no. Generally speaking, my tips for streaming have never really changed. Be yourself. Don't let there be lots of dead air. Don't spend any more than you have to budget on streaming, but do spend enough money to gain the best quality technical stream that you can. Try not to inhabit heavily populated, saturated markets where you'll be buried on the 56th page. Be reliable in your schedule so that you can build up an audience and they know that they can consistently depend on finding you. I mean, all of that's if you want to make it anything more than a hobby. If it's a glorified hobby, stream whatever you want, whenever you want, and have fun doing it. My wife streams whatever she wants, whenever she wants, and takes like month-long, months and months off when streaming's not working out for her. And that's fine because she doesn't have any illusions or illusions about doing this full time. If I did what she did, I would not only go insane, but I'd be out of a job pretty quick. But more than anything, just have a reason to get your ass in the chair that's more important than money or fame. because if the reason that you're doing it's money or fame, you will not make it. I mean, yeah, it's all pretty standard stuff. I'm not telling you anything that you couldn't get if you just Googled, how do I become a streamer? Shit, that stuns the victim, you say. I'm certainly not telling you anything that you wouldn't get if you just Googled, be a streamer. But ultimately, my biggest thing is consistency. Yeah, maybe for backpack. But like, yeah, consistency. Be in a game you enjoy playing that you have some modicum of skill in. Because even though I'm not great at Dead Cells right now, I do have some minute grain of authority when it comes to roguelikes. You can find whales, but you won't get like the trick for high rollers is like you can never predict when they show up. So you treat everybody like they're a VIP, but high rollers are never going to spend money in your channel, like absurd amounts of money in your channel, if they think that your channel might up and disappear overnight. Nobody's gonna sink lifetime 3, 4, 5, 6 figures into your channel if they're worried that if they give you $1,000 on Tuesday, you won't be there on Wednesday. So when it comes to high rollers, there is a strategy. It's a lot of luck, but I've seen a lot of people have the opportunity to earn a new whale who fucking boot it. You can have a high roller show up in your chat and drop the ball. Oh no, unfortunately I can't put explosive crossbow in my backpack. Right, and I mean ultimately, even if you want to make this a job, just realize that with as late as you're getting into the game, if you're not importing an audience from somewhere else like TikTok or YouTube, you're facing lottery-esque odds. You're facing lottery-esque odds. Normally I'd like to take that, but it's been a while since we've seen a legendary item. Like, statistically, you are going to fail. I have given this speech and this advice to hundreds of would-be streamers over the years. I have only been proven wrong once. Right, lottery-esque odds, and even if you do succeed and make enough money to call this a job, there's a pretty good chance that you would make more stable money working at a Barnes & Noble. And like, you would make more stable money doing less work at a Barnes & Noble. I would love damage on Frozen. That has a lot of arrows flying a bunch of different directions, I guess, for the time being. We'll do Ripper for now. Right. When I get brought in to do the how do I become a streamer, that is plus 15% damage. I feel like I maybe don't fuck with that. Whenever I get brought in to do the how do I become a streamer panels, that's pretty good. I always feel like I'm the asshole who basically says like, what I had an acting professor who was like, just like, he did the thing where he goes, all right, everybody look around. Everybody look around. All right, actors, look at me. Come on, let's get started. Everybody look around. Look to your left. Look to your right. know that the odds of becoming a successful working actor are stacked against you. Out of the 3 people in this scenario, you, the person to your left, and the person to your right, know that fucking none of you are gonna make it. Huh? Wait, what? I think you got that wrong. Shouldn't it be if the person to my left and the person to my right aren't gonna make it that I've got a shot, or that, or is it supposed to be the person to my left and the person to my right are both my competition, and that all I have to do is outperform them? And he's like, oh no. Statistically, you're all gonna fail. All of you are here getting paying to get a theater degree. But statistically, none of you are gonna grow up to be like professional actors. Nah, that's you're the kid with the basketball on the elementary school court, and you're shooting air balls from the free throw line, and you're saying you're gonna be in the NBA. So that's it's not because you're bad people. It's not because you're even particularly bad actors, although some of you are pretty terrible. You could be potentially Oscar-worthy performers, but there's just way too many actors in the world and not enough jobs, and you're certainly not going to get the big multi-million-dollar studio contracts. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you still want to do it after I've said all that, then you're off to the right step. That's the right first step. But I also need you to understand that I'm not blowing sunshine up your ass. You're all gonna fail. All of you are gonna end up in like real estate, or marketing, or blowing a whole bunch of directors and then getting mad that you still didn't get the part, and then you'll move home and regroup and become like a teacher or something. But yeah, none of you are going to be actors. With that said, who wants to get started with the script read? One day I should bother to look into giving streaming a go. Almost definitely won't because of procrastination, but over the years I've slowly gotten good at stream-worthy setup. Slowly gotten a good stream-worthy setup in terms of monitors and microphones and stuff, just due to getting my ideal PC set up. Oh, the tech aspect's certainly part of it. That was what they said in rehab. Only 1 out of 3 people would remain sober. Sorry to the 2 other people. I agree with Kat. Heck those suckers. All of this is why I didn't attempt to pursue my dreams. None of this should have worked. I mean, obviously this type of gig didn't exist when I was in school learning to entertain people or tell stories. But I absolutely didn't make it as an actor. Oh. Bats? Sorry. I have to be careful because I can't afford to hit the stupid Porky Moose thing. I hear Roger from Family Guy. Oh, Roger. They're like the one that's... He's got a much higher register. Peter. It took me a second to remember like which character that was. No, I'm thinking of my professor Phil Atlickson. Aha! Finally, revenge is ours. Yeah, Phil. Phil was the guy who I don't know. He ironically, he's nice. I liked Phil, and Phil liked me. It was just very funny because he was very cynical, and he was very he was very convinced of his own academic superiority. I missed. So did he. Hooray. He was kind of convinced of his own academic superiority. And it was kind of funny because sometimes that would come back to bite him in the ass. He'd do and say things like, we got into, like, film study. Hello? Murder! Al murder! Whatever. Murder him, sure, whatever. Maybe I can come at this guy from above. Nope. What if I threw a Tesla coil on him? There we go. Yo, distillery job sounds super cool. Got thousands of dollars in equipment that I should at least put to some kind of use besides sending some of it to you. Thank you again. I have not cracked that open yet to sort through it, but I do now know that if I need a cable or a cord, that's the first box I open. It's just the fact that it's all pulled together in one box, which I find comforting. Look to your left, look to your right. By the end of the week, all of you will be behind the Burger King trying to get smack. He really did go through an entire speech talking about, like... He really did go through a whole speech talking about, like... Hello? He really did go through a whole speech talking about, like, you're gonna have to figure out, what kind of actor do you want to be? And people were like, oh, well, I'm method. He's like, no. I don't care about your method. No, I'm not talking about how you act. I mean, like, what kind of person are you going to be when you're not an actor? Because there's a lot of different ways to come at this industry. You could be, you know, the person who just grinds. You could be the person who grinds and goes after all the auditions and just has rich mommies and daddies so you can afford to stick with it. And all of your other competition falls away. And by default, a little while later, you're taking roles in your age demographic because everybody in your geographic area in the United States folded because they had to go get real jobs. Because they got tired of being poor, or they started families, or whatever. Or you could choose to become the kind of actor who sucks dick for roles. And I mean, that works, you know, sometimes. I don't know that that's necessarily for the kinds of directors that you want to work for, but that's a way that you can get ahead, and you have to decide whether or not you want to do that. You have to decide if you're gonna, you know, get accepted for a role but turn it down based on principle, but that means that you don't potentially get another job for the next year and you're bankrupt based on your principles. Like, he really did lay out the gloom and doom on day one. I want to see Taffy do Shakespeare. The last play I performed in was Othello. I was Iago. I choose to believe that I was very entertaining in Shakespeare. I don't know that I'm the one who gets to decide that, but I choose to believe that Shakespeare and I agree with one another, so to speak. I liked Shakespeare. I played Borachio in Much Ado About Nothing. I played Iago in Othello. I played shit, what was that role? Oh man. So tired. There was more. I've absolutely played more Shakespeare than that. What the hell? Oh, fucking... Why can I not remember this character's name? Banquo. I played Banquo in Macbeth. Good grief. Struggled on that one. If I was in that class, I would not have been able to resist saying something along the lines of, "Don't worry, teach, if I fail at acting class, I could always try for your job." I mean, you could have, but then that was like lesson number 1, right? Is that there's, in those worlds, there is a power hierarchy. And I mean, eventually, at one point in time or another, I did find myself butting heads with people. I found myself butting heads with a tech director named Mike Baltzell, who I have to say, when push came to shove at the very end of it all, I liked him very much. Like, he and I found wonderful common ground together, but he and I fought like cats and dogs for a little bit, but that wasn't until after I had logged like 3 years in the program. But like, in the world of entertainment like that, it's not homogenized the way Twitch is. Like with Twitch, you know, yeah, people who hey, no, dude. Oh, we were so close to 60. I'm fucking crestfallen. Oh, so sloppy. But yeah, one of the first things that you realize, even at a collegiate level, is that in the world of things like theater or film, you know, it's not all as egregious and black and white and cut and dry as like Harvey Weinstein. But there are a lot of situations where, you know, say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and the next thing you know is that you don't get to work anymore. And it's just as true on like a collegiate setting where it's just as true on a collegiate setting where if I had said the wrong thing to the chair of the department, if I had said the wrong thing to the chair of the department, if I had mouthed off to Richard Clouch, or if I had talked shit to Anne or Mike Baltzell before I knew them.
This is the story of the newest denizen of the
Or if I had
cave.
told Phil Atlickson to go fuck himself because I didn't like the first scary things that he said in our class, I would have potentially found myself not able to land any roles. And like, I've never been to Los Angeles. I've auditioned in big cities, but not Los Angeles and New York. I've auditioned in like Philadelphia. I've auditioned in Atlanta. You cross the wrong casting director and you have effectively sealed your fate as the general manager of an Olive Garden. Or you cross the wrong director in a regional area, and you've guaranteed that you can never do even community theater for fun, because those communities are very image conscious and cliquey. So like, yeah, I could have told the first couple of people who tried to put the fear of God in me and who were too full of themselves that not only was I not scared of them, but that they were abject failures, or that those who can do, and yada yada yada. But one of the first lessons that you learn pretty early on is that it's an ego-driven career path, and if with the odds already stacked against you, you won't exactly be doing yourselves any favors by making the people who are the gatekeepers root against you. I was never in Midsummer Night's Dream. I was not in Midsummer Night's Dream. Wait. No, I'm thinking of Taming of the Shrew. Amber was in Taming of the Shrew. Neither one of us was ever in Midsummer. I would make an excellent Puck, I think. I'm getting pretty old, though. Taffy button heads with somebody. Not back then. I didn't have the confidence to pull that off. I didn't have the... especially in acting, which I'd never done before, I didn't have the confidence to be the guy who talked shit to anyone. And I hated conflict. And I was a huge teacher's pet, so I didn't do any of those things. I kissed their asses and told them how great they were, and I got cast in everything. Sidewinder, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub to Hoofhearted. Happy to have you here, dude. Yeah, Squiggly Waffle. So ultimately, that stupid porcupine is a fucking hard counter, and the shocker is completely resistant. What put you into acting in the first place? So I wanted to go into video games originally. I wanted to go into okay, no, that's not even true. Originally, I wanted to be a fucking fighter pilot when I was a kid. I wanted to be a fighter pilot because of Top Gun and Iron Eagle. All those military propaganda movies really got me. I even went so far as to go look at the Air Force Academy at Colorado Springs. I even went so far as to go look at the Air Force Academy at Colorado Springs, and I realized I was too tall and too prone to blacking out to be given the stick for a multi-million-dollar aircraft.
Look at you, Stanley. Flaunting your disposable income with that donation to Taffy.
Thank you for the $5. Last couple of days have been very mellow, but that's okay. Like Glitch came in here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, like buying pizza ovens, gifting hundreds of dollars. So I rolled my expectations for the rest of the week way down. So I'll happily take a $5. Very much appreciated. So yeah, like my first dream gig was to be a pilot, or so I thought. I thought I wanted to be a pilot. I realized that because I'm prone to blacking out and because of my height, that I was never going to be asked to get behind the stick of an airplane. And in that instance, the dream of being a fighter pilot died. Don't mind me. Sorry, there's too many enemies, including this guy, which I could do fuck all about. So, I was trying to find a way to negotiate that, and it just didn't come to me. After that, I thought I wanted to make video games because that was the only other thing that I felt like I was passionate about. I toyed with the idea of going to work for Blizzard back when that meant something, and went so far as to print out, because they had a now hiring section on their website that included everything that somebody who was going to school in 1998 or 1999 or 2000 would need on their college degree. So I started taking classes literally just not even based on what would get me a degree. I started taking classes based on what would get me hired at Blizzard. Yeah, we can make that into a better version. And I got snagged on calculus. For the life of me, I could not sort calculus. I tried 3 times, and it just dominated me. So then I tried computer information systems to basically go into an IT gig, because I had done that before with how in the fuck do I get up there? Oh. I had done that before with like packet greaser. I was in IT. I was in computer information systems for a little bit. And a thing that should have been awesome in my mind, but wasn't because I was young and stupid. You'll like this. What's the problem with this line of thought, chat? I hate the fact that I'm 19 years old. In all of my classes, I'm 20 years younger than everyone else who's in here with me, and I'm smarter than the teacher. What's wrong with that attitude? And don't, I'm talking from a practical standpoint, not from, oh, well, that's just a bad attitude to have if you want to learn. I'm talking, if you're piloting my 19-year-old body, I disliked it so much that I started looking for ways to transfer out. And like end that degree course. Here's, as a 43-year-old, the problem I look back on. I was absolutely correct. I was the smartest person in my class. I had a mic drop moment with one of my teachers where he couldn't get the AV system in the classroom to work. I'm sitting there reading the Green Mile because there's an attendance policy. I've got headphones on because I don't want to I don't need to listen. So I'm sitting there with my book open and my headphones on, and he comes up to me and like pats the table, and I do one of these, and he basically gives me a, why do you even bother coming if you're not going to pay attention? And I pulled out the syllabus and pointed at the attendance policy, and I went ahead and put it back. And it was a very holier than thou, tactless, is exactly what Wednesday says. Holier than thou, tactless bullshit. And then he started trying to get he had tried to like dunk on me about it. And I rolled my eyes, and he goes back and is struggling with the AV system. And I get up, I put my book down, and I set my headphones down, and I walk up, and I basically just switch a couple of HDMI cables around and flip a switch. AV system suddenly comes on. I go back to my spot at the lecture hall, grab my book, and put my headphone back on. The problem with that is, if I'm at 19 and I feel like I know more than all of the grown-ups around me who are in their 30s and 40s, that means that I have the ability to launch into a field where there's clearly work, lucrative work, where people are in their 30s and 40s coming back trying to get advanced education so that they can keep up with the technology. And I, at 19, am already ahead of them, which means that by the time I'm their age, I potentially could be retired if I maintain that same trajectory. I'll certainly be their boss by the time I'm old enough to drink. As a 19-year-old in class, that was a problem for me because I wanted to be around more of my peers. Blah, blah, blah. Now I want to go back and be like, you fool! You could be all these people's bosses in 3 years! You could be making the most money out of anybody in this room. Just keep paying attention and get the piece of paper. Study what you want on your own time. Continue to get further ahead of these people who are the cornerstones of the industry right now, but clearly clearly the technology is outpacing them. So that was a problem. Anyway, all of this is to answer the question, why did you get into acting? Here's Blizzard emerged from lurk. Don't do it as a trap. Work for Blizzard fan site. No, this is in 1999 when it meant something. So all of this is to answer what led you to acting. And at that point, I went back and kind of had a sit down with myself. I tried to become a teacher. I went into an education class in the first class of this like high demand class because every teacher in Idaho had to take it. I got through the wait list and got into this class, and they said, everybody, we're just going to go around and I want everyone to stand up and introduce yourself and say why you want to be a teacher. And I listened to like 20 people, and it got to me, and I was like, hi, my name's Ryan Capps. I've been listening to everyone else talk about why you want to be a teacher, and it's made me realize I really don't want to be one. So I'm going to go down to admin and drop this class so that somebody who really wants to be here can get in. I hope you guys have an awesome semester. And I turned around and walked out. And the teacher was just like, I appreciate you opening up a roster slot. That's actually pretty cool of you. Like, this is a little douchey the way that you're tapping out, but I did set it up so that you either had to lie to me or do this right now. So thank you so much for getting out of class. I was like, no problem. I really do mean it. I hope you guys have an awesome semester. Bye, everybody. Bye, Ryan. So I did all these different things trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. And then I actually realized that a lot of the jobs that I wanted to have, I was basing what I was deciding off of movies I had seen. And at that point, I had changed my mind like 12 times on what I wanted to do for money. And I was like, oh, well, what if I took a job where every time I picked up a role, I got to be something else? And that felt pretty cool. And I still think that's pretty cool. That one day you could be a fighter pilot, and the next day you could be a teacher, and the next day you could be an IT person, and the next day you could be Pablo Picasso, and the day after that you could be an alien, or sentient AI, or the day after that, you know what I mean? Like that, I found that to be very sexy. So I changed majors to theater without ever having been in a play or memorized a monologue. Which is pretty bold, but it also explains why I was so fucking bad in the beginning. I was, like, offensively bad for the first few years that I tried to do it, because I just assumed that I'd just get it. It's the byproduct of being told that as an honors student since, like, elementary school that you were, like, special and gifted. And I was like, oh, well, I'll probably just crush this like I crush everything else. Nope. I was actually offensively terrible. Let me see if I can catch up on all this real quick. Damn, Danger Noodle. I wouldn't trust myself with big machinery. I tried doing CIS. The first professor insisted our first language to learn had to be COBOL in 2012. I keep telling a friend, trying to tell a friend of mine not to go back to college for what they care about. Just go and get a piece of paper. I wouldn't go back for something I cared about unless it was going to make me money. I would never go back to college unless I thought the amount of money I stood to earn from going back to college was going to outpace what it would cost me to get whatever the hell I was studying. I will say I had an honors English class. I'll do this real quick and then I'll get back to the game. I had an honors English class with a professor named Sherry McGuire. And she was great because the first day in class she went, "You're all honor students, you're all very smart. You were all very big fish in a very small pond, but now you're here at a university surrounded by the other big fish from small ponds, which means you're all very average. So before you all start thinking you're hot shit, know that there's 2 grades you have to work very hard to get in my class. One is an A and the other is an F. Odds are most of you will get your first B's and C's of your academic career in this class. You don't have to, but I doubt whether or not you'll put in the work. All right, let's crack our books open to page 16. I was like, God damn. I was like, no one has ever spoken to me like that before. I lettered in theater twice in high school, but never appeared on stage. I like creating the spectacle, but not being the one who goes out that people are looking at. I really did enjoy being on stage. I didn't need it the way I needed this. I leveraged my family's future on getting this up and running. And I needed it like I needed to breathe. I never felt that way about theater. I still really like it, but I wasn't willing to take a leap of faith or put myself in serious risk. I put myself in risk by not getting a real job, not getting a 401k, not planning for retirement, saving money, blowing through my 20s and 30s with nothing to show for it. That was pretty bad. But that didn't make sense to me. For me, I was just like, whatever, man, so long as I can make rent and have enough money for good Chinese food, I'll be all set. I used to say that from like 19 to 28. All I need is enough money to pay my rent and eat good Chinese food once a week. Oh, you're so bohemian, younger Ryan. Enjoy your cigarettes. You fucking dummy. Yeah, but I like at the time when I say like I wasn't willing to take risks for it, like I wasn't willing to sit in a room and memorize monologues and practice monologues and take honest feedback from people and then just hit audition after audition after audition until casting directors knew my first name. I wasn't willing to really sacrifice and put my nose to the grindstone the way that I did this. Friend does not have their associate degree. He was in school for physics but had to drop because of money. I do love teachers that just fucking shoot you straight. I did get an A in that class, by the way. Let the fucking record show. I was one of like 3 A's in that class. But it also meant that she would assign paper. She gave us the opportunity where she would assign papers on Friday. They'd be due the next Friday. We had the ability to bring them in on Monday if we were willing to write 3 and 4 page papers over the weekend. We could bring them in on Monday. She would proof them, mark them all to hell, hand them back to us on Tuesday, and then we could resubmit them on Friday. We weren't required to do that. We could just take the assignment on Friday and turn the assignment in on Friday. But if you wanted to get an A, you were going to incorporate her notes. So I did that for every single paper that Professor McGuire assigned for 2 semesters. I would write those papers over the weekend, turn them in on Monday, get them back on Tuesday, apply all the notes. It would look like the fucking it would look like fucking Julius Caesar after Brutus got done with him, just dripping with red ink. And I would fix everything that she wrote on there, and then I'd resubmit it on Friday. I was one of like three students that every Monday we'd all walk in together with our first drafts. We were like a little editor's room at a newspaper. But we were also the only 3 students who got A's in the course. Three to 4 pages in 2 days, that's nothing. That's nothing except when you're taking a 19 credit course load and you're being asked by a teacher to write 3 to 4 pages of creative prose that are so good that they look like they could be excerpts from fiction that was written well enough to be published. That was where her standard was. And yeah, I was doing like I was also doing Western Civ, and I was also doing Intro to Art, and I was also doing all the ones that I could get a hold of in the honors format, which meant that I had extra homework I was doing in the honors format. I didn't do it very often, Lisa, but there were 2 or 3 semesters where I did 19. And the first semester of Professor McGuire's course load, I did 19. So 3 to 4 pages in a weekend, if that was my only class, would be a joke. But it was not my only class, plus I was doing like intramural sports. So like weekends were when I get pulled for like flag football practice or like 3-on-3 basketball tournaments, etc., etc. What is it? It's like, so Stevie, if you're a full-time student, what is it? It's like 16 credits. It's like booking yourself for a full-time job. So like if you do like 14 to 16 credits in an American university, you're basically saying I am a full-time student who's willing to work 40 to 50 hours a week. If you're doing 19 credits in a semester, it's the equivalent of saying I'm a single parent who wants to work 2 jobs. I'm a single parent who wants to work 2 jobs and weekends. Not literally, but that's the mentality you've got to have for how hard you're going to work. That's basically admitting that you're going to work 50 to 90 hours a week, depending on whether or not you're in the middle or end of a semester and you've got a bunch of term papers all hitting simultaneously, or a bunch of finals all happening in the same week. Like, it won't be all bad all the time, but if you're doing 19 credit hours, especially of honors courses, you're going to have homework every night. It'll be worse on midterms and finals, but you'll have windows where you won't have anything to do, but there won't be many of them. Yeah, it's what Glitch said. There's just, once you get to that point, there's literally just 0 days off. You get to over about 16 credits and you've got no days off anymore. It gets a little intense at that point. It becomes the kind of thing where, like, your academic guidance counselors start asking you whether or not you think this is a good idea. The funny thing is, I have to admit that I thought I was hot shit and that I'd be able to handle it just fine. And then the first time that I ever did it, it was brutal. And I decided that that was probably not the best idea I've ever had. So the only other time I ever think I did 19 credits was just because a couple of classes that I needed only came around during that semester and were gonna go away for like a year and a half or some fucked up number after that. I didn't do it out of pride, like I did it because I had to. But I was like, I was not high on my own stash at that point. I did it and like a single tear rolled down my cheek because I knew what it meant I was gonna have to suffer through. Amber was the kind of person who did it because she only felt like she was doing her academic due diligence if she was working herself to the point of mental fracture. Amber took so many credits in the first semester of her grad school course that I felt like we had just moved into this house together, and I genuinely felt like I did not see her. I genuinely felt like I did not see her for like 9 weeks. Like, it was bad, to the point where I felt obliged to go say, like, I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm gonna have to go say something because this is miserable. And she openly admitted at that point that she had bitten off more than she could chew as a mother who was trying to unpack a house. Of course, it's really different from to that. To be honest, it was less work and more a lot of friends at uni. We had like 5 to 15 hours of classes a week, lecture, group work. We're expected to do most of our actual work independently, so we were expected to do like 30 hours a week minimum, but most people did 20 to 30 at most. Like, honestly, too, in America, with finances being the issue that they can be, that's also another thing that happens, is like, you know, you have certain expenses that you're going to run into every semester, like housing, like food, like books, and all that kind of stuff. And so every time you add a semester to how long you're going to be at a school, you know, you get back into a situation where it's like, oh, I got to pay for this apartment near campus, or I've got to pay for the gas to get into school, or I got to pay for the parking permit, or whatever the hell it is. So you get a lot of people who are just like, I got to get my degree lickety split. If I break it up, it's going to take me 3 semesters. But if I really, really torture myself, it'll only take 2, and I'll save some money. Poison has no effect on you. Can't believe he's still an ossuary. I talk a lot. The talking part of it, the stream, is way more important to me than the video games part. Oh my god. If I was a skill-based streamer and not a personality-based streamer, I think I would worry about it more. But generally speaking, generally speaking, most everyone who's here realizes that they're here for... Most everybody who's here realizes that they're here for all of us just bullshitting and hanging around. As opposed to like, man, I can't wait to see Taffy speedrun this game that he's been really bad at the last several days. That would be a recipe for, I think, immense disappointment. Not to mention the fact that, yeah, with how bad I've been performing recently, it feels like a good thing that if I'm gonna really talk to chat, then I should probably pause the fucking game, because I'm getting absolutely brutalized in every other way, which way but loose. And in any other scenario, I'm just like, oh, I'll just talk and play at the same time. It's like, oh, you're gonna automatically forfeit 50% of your health and talk at the same time. Black Bridge. After university, telling my dad how stressed I'd been, he divined it wise to drop this pearl of wisdom. Yeah, we surnames are only happy when we're miserable. Thanks for the heads up, Dad. Thanks for passing that on. All I remember about college textbooks is how much I'd spend to get them, and I'd be mad, and then I'd get like half of that back, but it would be so much money, cash in hand, as a college student, and I would instantly take it and go get pizza and get drunk and feel like a king. Oh shit, that's not bad. A little poison. Shit. I got half, but it's like we're talking about like 1998 through 2003. My community college charged rates up to the first 15. Then you could take extra credits for free if you wanted. I probably should have, but I couldn't make the schedule work. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of what they're counting on, right? Oh, I still don't have the gold for it. I'm a big dumb idiot. Yeah, we're here for the convos. The gameplay is the Subway Surfer of the channel. Honestly, we're here for the conversations. That's the workplace, the office environment. The video gameplay is just the FM radio that you got playing in the corner of the office. Hell yeah, Scribbles. Yeah, I feel like Frostbite's worth it here if we're gonna keep spamming. I'm gonna re-roll anyway. I've got to get rid of, oh, don't do it twice. No big deal. Rusty Brazenfire with 20 bucks worth of kids. How do I reach these kids? How is the stock market doing today? Not bad. It's a spicy meatball. Are we gonna get up over $300 in profit for the first time since retirement launched? Ooh, we're awfully close. 275. Since May, that account's turned up $275 in profit. Kids Orthopediatrics is an American bioscience company engaged in designing, developing, manufacturing, and distributing orthopedic implants and instruments for pediatric issues. Well, I love that.
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
Ah, shit. Okay, one sec. Kamai, thank you so much for being here. 12-month gifty from Hollycat, going into month number 10. Thanks to Hollycat for my gifted sub. What a hero. Agreed. Agreed. Oh, concierge. Ian, freeze! Oh, I hit the wrong button, but it worked. That fucker does some weird stuff when he comes out of his freeze. I've never done this like this before. I say that to all the bosses. It's kind of hinky, but it got there. Oh, boomerang. I thought I saw finger up there. I'm pretty sure we were talking about general practitioners. So that was probably a Dr. Longfinger reference. Damn, chat, we bought this portfolio for $3,400. It's worth almost $38. $34.85. Now $37.55. I love it. Scanning. Been away for a while, but this stock thing's a pretty cool dono concept. Yeah, Dakota. It's I've wanted this since like 2018. I've wanted this since like 2018. Originally, I told Noah I wanted the ability to build a portfolio based on chat's recommendations. And when I first mentioned it, Noah said it was too difficult. Oh my. When I first mentioned it, he said it was too difficult and that it just, there was no point in trying to do it. And then the GameStop thing happened and he came back around and was like, hey man, I might have been wrong. Maybe we should try to do this. And I was like, oh, it's a little late for that now, bud. But yeah, I would still like to have it. And then it took me a very long time to find someone who could build it. I ended up paying Rory, I don't know, $6,000 and change to get it built. I think it'll make me more than that by the time I'm done. I don't know that the ROI is going to be huge, but whatever. It's fun, and that's really what I'm paying for. But yeah, I had to. I went to probably 4 of my friends who could potentially build this thing, and none of them were willing to do it. So I had to. I say discover Rory, like I had to, for myself. I had to discover Rory for myself, and then it still took me almost a year of leaning on Noah and Rory to get the goddamn thing pulled together. Yeah, I'm 100%. It's a playful, memey little hobby that chat gets to help me engage in. So yeah, I've wanted this for years. If I had gotten it when I asked for it, I probably would have made a small fortune. But I didn't. But it doesn't mean that I don't want the thing, you know? It is a fun little thing. And then Rory, of course, went above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like, so if I go back to my overlay here, I mean, he straight up made me this, this is the change in all of these stocks since I purchased them based on chat's recommendation. Chat pays money, says, I think you should use exactly this amount to buy this stock. I say, okay. Then I purchase it. So anyway, yeah, F is the Ford Motor Company. A lot of green numbers up there right now. Not a lot of stuff deep in the red these days. Omega, I don't know what that is. Omega Therapeutics is down since we bought it. So anyway, whew, my bad. I did leave myself enough to reset my mutations, though. I'm still gonna stick with Frostbite. I don't think Ripper is all that good. Oh, the turkey chimichurri is so delicious. I wonder if Acrobatipack would work here. I kind of liked that fight. That fight was kind of we worked harder on being elusive and not doing a bunch of damage, and we ended up no-hitting it. I'm not saying that's the way. I think sometimes playing defense through an entire boss fight's a great way to die slowly. But it worked. I did wash my hands. I'm not trying to give myself pink eye. Let me tell you the story of the fart that's not to be trusted. Have those guys always been here? I feel like those guys weren't always here. Oh, you rat prick. Yeah, get bumped. This is not good. Stop taking damage. I do like that on this level, Mushroom Lad is knocking guys off to their death. Mushroom Boy is bumping enemies into sweet oblivion. I don't know that I can raise enough money to get another flask charge. Not that I could carry one right now. I was in the bathroom and I came across two farts. One fart always tells the truth and the other fart always lies. But how to know which is which? This is gratifying to watch. I should have been hit there, but I wasn't because I was blinded by rage and it actually saved my life. All right, chat, I'm only gonna ask this once. Which one of you shit my pants? I guess once Mushroom, at some point Mushroom Lab blows up, I'm guessing. And once Mushroom Lab blows up, I have to resummon him, is what I'm seeing, is what I'm feeling here. If I'm understanding correctly. Oh my god, I wasn't even looking that direction. Stop with the murder. It's not Mushroom Lady. Its name is literally Mushroom Boy. So I'm working under the assumption that I'm gendering it correctly. I could be wrong. Ooh, we might be in line for another, legendary. Can you imagine if somehow someone somewhere could donate money to remotely shit your pants, you'd never be safe from a glitch shitting? I wouldn't even wear pants anymore. I 100%, now Beast is right, I just 100% moved my entire streaming setup into the toilet. Damn, get bumped, son. Like a little talk show host. Get bumped! Yeah, if Glitch had the ability to spend money... Oh, no, there's a guy behind me. If Glitch had the ability to spend money to force me to shit myself, I would just never wear... I would never wear pants again. What would be the point? It would genuinely feel like yeah, it would feel like dysentery. I would have the South Korean shitting sickness.
This is the story.
Rusty Brazen Fire with a gifted tier 1 sub to dysentery. Very nice, very nice. Let's do this, let's do this. Whatever, let's just get into it. Oh no! Oh no! I'll leave, it's fine. He hit me from... Fuck my life, dude. He hit me from there?